In this course, you will look at Android malware. So you will be able to analyze malware by the end of this course and learn how to find out information about any Android program, see if it is malicious or not malicious, and you'll be able to investigate any Android program for possible activity. Now, for example, in this course, we'll look at an application that has a real threat, real malicious software called FinSpy, which not too much is known about it. It is some Trojan or malicious program that has been used actively to hack into phones. So FinSpy, and we'll look at how to find out if an application contains FinSpy or other possible malware. And also we'll take a look at fingerprinting, which we'll explain later throughout the course to be able to find more about the application online. You'll be able to look into the application about what it's doing and such kind of information. We'll use an open source tool called Pithus. And this is a free tool, so you don't need to pay anything. It's just a free tool you can use to analyze any Android software, any Android app. So you don't really need any prior knowledge for this course. Of course, if you have some technical knowledge about Android, about APKs, that will really help to understand better. So in this course, we'll analyze Android malware. We are going to investigate the malware and learn how to get information out of Android malware. And what you'll want to know is that most Android malware pretends to be a normal application. So people install the normal application on their Android phone or on their tablet, Android device, and this application is malicious and then infects the phone or tablet, takes it over or does malicious things. And any application on Android is called an APK. Android application package is the meaning, but you can just remember APK. So on your phone, if you have an Android phone or an Android tablet, there's many different APKs, and those are applications. So a lot of files with .extension .apk. You'll see I downloaded some here. You can find many APKs online. Of course, you can use the Google Play Store to get them, but also third-party websites. You can find any. Click downloads, and you'll have and then you can download the APKs. So I have here apkpure.com, and you can just search for APK downloads and download any Android application to analyze it. Of course, you can also download them out of your phone, but you might as well download them from these third-party websites or from the company websites. You can often find the APK as well. So you see, if I go to this one, click download APK, and then you can get the APK file on different websites. So before I used APK Pure, but there's many different websites where you can download APKs, and you can think of them similar to on Windows computers you have .exe files, which is executables. On Mac you have DMG files as executables. And on Android you have APK files. So APKs are just programs. And one thing to remember, that's .apk, that is our starting point. So you need an application, a .apk, to analyze it if it is malware or not. And we're going to use a tool called Pithus. So Pithus is an open source analysis tool. It's an online tool where you can upload your APK and find lots of different information about it. So if I go to the browser, I click new tab, and then I go to the website beta.pithus.org. So we go to the website beta.pithus.org. So this website, and you'll see this screen pop up with two bars here, on the left query and on the right APK. So on the right is where we want to be. So in this bar you can click browse to select your Android file, your Android program, any APK. You'll see they have a limit of size, so it has to be smaller than that, but you can upload it for analysis. So if I click browse, I can then select any APK I downloaded, bear in mind the size, and click upload, and it will start to analyze that APK for potential threats, so for potential malicious activity. And the website is beta.pithis.org, as you saw before on the screen. Now this can take a while because it will upload the APK and analyze it, so you can grab a coffee while this process is taking place. So in the analysis tip, APK analysis, you can find some more information. For example, the package name, the app name, something about the version. If the app has been frosted, so I mentioned before that applications can be frosted. In that way, it's verified that it comes from the vendor. In this case, this application is not frosted, so it can have been manipulated with. So frosting, you'll see here. This can be important if you want to be sure that the app has not been messed with by any malicious actor. So in this case it's not frosted, so we know that it can be risky. You see on the top there's different tabs, and also on the left top you'll see a threat level, so which is provided by VirusTotal. So from 0 to 63. We can go to threat intel, and you can find some information about when it has been published, the timeline. So obviously this timeline is kind of weird because it's been first APK in 1981, so I really doubt that. You'll see how long the certificate is valid, so like 10 years more. And a link to the VirusTotal scan, so if you click on that link, you can find that VirusTotal didn't find any malware in this APK. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist or it's not malicious, but at least VirusTotal didn't find anything. So that's in the threat intel tab. You can find some information like that. Now another very useful one is the behavioral analysis tab. So if you go to this tab, you'll see the permissions the app has. For example, this app can write external storage, it can manage accounts, credentials, and some other permissions. So depending on the app, that can be necessary or not. So perhaps the app is using GPS location, but the app is like a file manager or a paint program, or maybe even a simple alarm clock. So then it's like would be really weird if it's using the GPS location. So you can check the permissions in here of your APKs. And some APKs, malicious, they can have a lot of permissions that obviously they want as much permissions as possible. So that's something you might find in a malicious APK, or it might be suspicious depending on the type of APK that it has certain permissions, like in the case of an alarm clock with a GPS location. That would be really weird. Or perhaps making calls when it's an alarm clock app. So you might find some suspicious activity there. If you scroll down, you'll see threat analysis. So you'll see things the app is doing. For example, this one is modifying the voice volume, and other things the app can do or might be doing. So depending on the app, that might be something that would be weird. If you scroll down further, there's a behavioral analysis tab where showing that things the app is actually doing. For example, we mentioned that this app is doing something with the GPS location. And if you click on the little eye, you can see the Java classes, so the programming code files that are requesting the GPS location. So you'll see different files here: location card controller, location retrieved callback, Google Play location service. So depending on what you're interested in, so you can find different things. For example, it's making web connections in several classes, so URL, HTTP clients, and some other files. And you'll see it can do different things. For example, TCP socket network connection, And there's quite a lot of files, code files, that are actually connecting with the internet. So that is in the behavioral analysis. You can find some more information about which classes or which Java files are using that permission. So in this way, using the tab here, the behavioral analysis, we can find out more about how the app is behaving. Another tab that is very useful is the network analysis tip. So if we go to that tab, you can see the countries where the app is actually connecting to. So this app, it connects to the United States, to Netherlands, and also to Germany. So if you find perhaps the app is connecting to countries you might not expect, that would be really weird. And so, yeah, you can find some information in the network analysis tab. For example, it might be connecting to China or to Brazil or Australia, and depending on the app, that might not be the suspected or expected behavior, depending on what kind of app it is and where the company is located. So in this case, it's 2 locations, so it might be that it has servers or computers on 2 different continents just for having faster connections to their customers. But that really depends on the kind of app. And it might be it has app, for example, on the other side of the globe, so it would be a bit weird. Or maybe it has connections all over the place. It really depends on the company vendor and what is the expected behavior. And a lot of behavior you can find in the behavior tab. If you go to network analysis, you can also scroll down and find out the actual websites that the app is connecting to. So in this case, you'll see it's connecting to lots of Amazon sites and some cloud sites. And yeah, you can see where the application will connect to. Aside from the map, you'll see the actual servers, the domain names that the app connects to. Also the specific URLs that they are connecting to. So, and that you can do for any APK, right? So if you go to the website, you can upload your APK and find out all that kind of information using this analysis tool. So if you click on fingerprints, you'll see here file sums. So what is a file sum? You'll see all these like codes here. These codes are called digits or hashes. And there's different programs that can create these digits. So what is this digits? The idea of digits is to, given any input, which can be just a message or text, create some code, which is called a digits code. So in this case, you'll see it's created these digits codes here. And this digits code is created using an algorithm. An algorithm is a computer program. So there's a computer program that creates the digits. Now, this is a very simple example in which the algorithm is basically just in the alphabet, sum all the numbers, and it creates a unique digits. Now, of course, this is a very simple program, it's a very simple algorithm. In the real world, there's different algorithms that are much more advanced to create these unique digits. A digit is always unique. So given an input, the output, so given an input, it goes to the hash function or the algorithm, the program, and that creates this gibberish output. And that is unique. For every byte makes a unique difference. So here we have a small changes in the, and you'll see the digits changes completely. You can try that on your own. For example, if you go to duck.com, showed you in the Pithas report, it has different hash functions or different algorithms, different programs. All of this is just the same algorithm, program, hash function. We talk about the same thing. So that is the program in between. So given the input, it creates this gibberish output. So for example, we can do MD5. So we can say MD5 hello, and it will tell you on duck.com the digits. If we make a small, I can zoom in just to make it more readable. So given the input, it creates that gibberish output, the MD5 sum. Now we can make a small change here, for example, capital H, and you'll see the digits changes completely. One thing to notice is that the digits is always the same length. So if we write some more here, you'll see it doesn't change the digits length. So every program has a unique length, which is also what you see in the reports. So MD5 you'll see has a shorter length than the SSH1. And obviously we can also use the SSH1 program. So if you go to that website again and we type SSH1, you'll see it creates a completely different hash because the program it's using is different. So it has a different program here. So the algorithm or the hash program is different. That's why it creates a different output. And so of course there's different programs that you can. Let me just remove that. Okay, let's just ignore it. So there's different programs here that create those hashes. But one thing to notice is that a hash is basically a unique identifier. So given an input, let me close that. Given an input, it creates a unique output, and that can be for any file. So it can be just a text message, but you'll know that everything in the computer is just data. So anything can be hashed. It can be a music file, MP3 file, it can be a video file, it can be a downloadable file. In this case, an APK file, Android program. You can also calculate the digits over that, and you'll see Bithus does that automatically. And why is that important? Because it's a unique identifier for your program. So you can search the internet for similar files. I'll show you about that in the next lecture. Now we can also do some hunting. So if we click on the fingerprints tab, you'll see some fingerprints here like MD5, SSH1, SSH256, and also the file size. So you can search for the so-called hash. So this is a code that has been generated using the APK files input. And of course, there's different ways to generate these codes. So different programs can generate different outputs. This is just a code that represents the app. So you can search on that. For example, if you click search the internet, it will open a new tab and search for that hash, so-called hash, which is basically the application. And you'll see, okay, for this one, there is no result. You can, of course, also search the other hashes, and you'll see, okay, this hash, this application seems to be Amazon Prime for Android. So by searching for the hash, you can also find information online sometimes if it's malicious or anything like that. Hash is always generated from a file or from input. So any input, they do a calculation and calculate the hash, which then looks like this. And every hash is unique. So just by searching for the hash, you can also find information by similarity. Now, if you scroll down, you'll see. So you can search, there's a little glass here that you can use to search for similar examples. So in this case, no results. And we can use the other glass, find similar samples. Also for this one, there is no results, but it might be that when you search for them, either on Bithus or on Google, using those file sums, that you find information about is this application malicious or not. So this is by searching by similarity. Now, in this case, I didn't find any threads here, right, automatically. So for some malicious programs, it might automatically identify some threads. For example, here is the analysis report of another APK, of another Android program, Wire, which is a popular chat app. But apparently it has been messed with, so you'll see here 20/62 malicious. So it does seem to be malicious. And if we go to the thread detail tab, you'll see, hey, there is FinSpy for Android. So, okay, that's hunting match. So if it's malicious, it might come with some hunting matches. And you'll see that, okay, the names of that. And we can search the internet for what is this FinSpy. Doesn't sound too good, right? So let's take a look. What is FinSpy? Paste and go. And you'll see it is some spyware. You'll see it's some spyware in spy. So this spyware APK is obviously malicious. So you can find that here. Also, you can search for the fingerprint as I showed before. So if I click fingerprints, we can search for the internet for that file sum, and you'll see it shows that it is malicious. So you'll see some website that's okay. So you can search for that online for those hashes. But threat intel is of course most obvious because it says hunting matches, and you might automatically find what kind of manipulation they did with the how they made the program malicious. So in this case they added FinSpy malware to their APK, which then allows them to take over their phone. So it says some information here. It seems to be some government malware that has been used around the world. So yeah, that is one possible threat that you might find if this has been messed with. Of course, there can be all kind of malicious that they added to the APK, and you can find that in the threat intel activity. Now, one thing to notice is that they only show that if you register. So if you go to this website and click sign in, you can log in, and then they will show that threat intel hunting match information. If you don't log in, then they don't show that. So that's something to keep on mind, that they will only show that for logged in users. So make sure that if you're interested in that, click on sign in and then log in with GitHub to find that information. Now, GitHub account is free, so you can create a new one if you don't have one, or if you don't want to use your normal GitHub account, and then then it will show you hunting matches if it found one. So possible malicious software that they included in the, so it can be FinSpy, but it can also be other software. It can also be that they made their own software. In that case, it won't be a hunting match, but you will be able in behavior analysis to find that, okay, it does look malicious, and also the malicious score on top, it would show as 0. So if you go to beta.pithus.org, just for clarity, that is beta.pithus.org. On the bottom of the screen, there's the website URL. So if you go to that website, on the left, you'll have the query fields. So on the left here, we can search. You'll see a little search bar here as well. So we can search, for example, all the samples available on Pithus. So other people analyzed APKs as well, and you can search those reports, or you can search for specific threats. So let's do that. So if you go to the query and just type asterisk as a query, so just an asterisk, and press enter, you'll see, if you scroll down, a lot of different APKs that have been analyzed. For example, there's here com.kingo.app, some Kingo root app. If you scroll down, you'll see different APKs. For example, this one, 10 seems to be malicious, 27 score. So we can click on it to see the report for this app, and you'll see this has been a malicious app. Perhaps if we go to threat intel, it shows a high score, but it doesn't show here the information. We might need to log in for that. We can go to behavior analysis to see what it's doing. Network analysis. So in this case, it doesn't show anything there. It can happen. So if you just go to beta.pithus.org and search for asterisk, you can scroll down in those results and find out apps that have been analyzed in the past, and also their threat score. So you can easily or somewhat easily find malicious programs in there that other people found. So some samples with reports For example, there's this one, some Arabic program. You'll see it has quite a high malicious score. Now you can go through the tabs to see what it's doing in the behavior, for example. So this is doing something with messages, shared message service, so SMS, or text messages. You can go network analysis, and you'll see this one is just connecting with the United States. And you can find some different things about what it's doing. So obviously a lot with text messages in this app. Something with network as well. We could go to the network analysis tab and scroll down. You'll see where it is connecting. So yeah, you can find different apps on here and analyze them and find out some examples of APKs that other people analyzed in the past. For example, network analysis, and you'll see this one is also connecting to Germany. There's some different websites where it is connecting. We can go to threat analysis, and you'll see this has some kind of bank rule. So obviously it's malicious, this APK. And of course you can further analyze it by going through these steps. You might also search for a certain threat. So if you type threat underscore name, you can search for anything containing a certain threat. For example, we had FinSpy before, the malware, so asterisk around it and like this. So let me show you more clear. So we type threat name with an underscore, asterisk, FinSpy, asterisk, and search. And you'll see, in this case, there have been no results for that, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, right? Because we had an app that had that FinSpy malware included. It's just that it isn't not included in the samples that you showed before. So by just typing the asterisk, enter, it has some samples where you can take a look around. Of course, if you have the APK, you can click browse and select your APK, click upload, and it will analyze it for you to see if that APK is malicious, or at least if you can find indications that that app is malicious. Okay, so this is the analysis report of some APK, which seems to be Iranian. You'll see it has a malicious score of 14. So obviously this seems to be malicious. Now, first step is the fingerprint step. So we can, the app APK, every APK has a unique identifier, which before you learned how to calculate that. Now we can search on the internet, for example, Google, click on the little G and find out. We can find the fingerprint online. You'll see we can't find it online. So we don't really find about it any information. You'll see some more identifiers here that we can search. So nothing there on Pitfus either. Let's go over to the threat intel tab. So it tells us some basic things like VirusTotal has a score of 14. So we can click on the link, head over to VirusTotal website, and it says, okay, some malicious activity. So it seems to have some spyware on it. It's malicious. Kuyan is included, according to Kaspersky as well. So a lot of different antivirus vendors will tell you that this APK is malicious. You can click on details, see about when this is created, also the app. You can find some more. Now search for relations. Different IP addresses that might be, so internet addresses, not that special. We can go to the behavior tab and see it's making network requests. So some basic information, but basically the antivirus companies will tell you that this particular APK is malicious. It says a score of 14. So it's either, it seems to be SMS spy and SMS or spy agent. So we can search on that for PITHAS, and we might find some other applications that contain that spyware. In this case, it seems quite many applications contain that spyware. So SMS spy and spy agents. So obviously this is a clear example of this Android application. The name indicates text messaging, SMS, so might do something with that. We can go APK analysis, and it's not a trusted app, so the vendor is not, this program doesn't actually come from the vendor, from the company. It is some malicious actor. So by trusted we can check if at least the APK is distributed by the company. Some things it might has permissions for. Now we can go to the code analysis tab. You'll see some general stuff. The behavioral analysis, which is usually very interesting. So it can read text messages, send text messages, receive text messages, read contacts. Now I don't know what this app is supposed to do, but it seems to be able to read text messages. You'll see some random permissions like internet, Wi-Fi, but it seems to be particularly interested in text messaging for some reason. You'll see some other things it can do, this application, and also, for example, if we click on sending SMS, you'll see two classes can actually send text messages. I don't know if that application is supposed to do that, but it can do that. Also, it connects to the internet. We can go to the network analysis, and you'll see this app is connecting to and the United States. So might be a bit weird, you know, why would the app connect to Azerbaijan or an Iranian app? We can see if we scroll down, it's connecting to some .tk domain. Now .tk are free internet domains that exist, and you'll see they connect to red.php. Now a red is a remote access tool. If you search for red or remote access tool, okay, there's some in my language, but we can also find on English, for example, on Wikipedia. So I'll head over to the English Wikipedia. Okay, sorry, I thought there was an English Wikipedia, but there's English results explaining what a remote access tool is. What is for example, on McAfee blog, it will explain you that it gives the software that gives the person full control over the device remotely. So this is a very obvious case of, where is the report, of malware, because it has red.php. Now red, obviously remote access tool, so it gives the attacker complete access over the phone. You also notice that they use a .tk domain, so that is the free domain that anyone can register without giving their credentials. So I believe that is .tk, and on the .tk website, anyone can get a free address. So you'll see free for all, and it also meaning free of money. So any malicious actor can create, or apparently do create, malicious websites using that domain. And then, of course, they use a red, and it has /Zeus. So we can also search for Zeus. Maybe that is the red software. So if I search for Zeus red, and you'll see, yes, remote access tool, Zeus botnet. So that is the type of malware that they use, the Zeus botnet, which gives them complete control over the software. Now, okay, some images of reds, but you can find out more about it online if you search for the Zeus botnet, so perhaps this website, and it will tell you this is malware that steals banking information. Okay, this is not very good to install that app then. So we can analyze any app using this PITHAS website. on URL and network analysis can be very useful. You might discover what kind of request it's doing. So in this case, it's very obvious, Zeus/red. And when you search that, we find out that this is actually a remote access tool. Now, also you can of course do behavioral analysis. You can look at the malicious core. So there's different ways to get information that or different indicators that the application is malicious. So in this case, the threat intel, we saw virus total score of 14. So in the little red box here. Fingerprints didn't really give us too much. And the analysis told us, at least it's not frosted, so that's not a good thing. That means it has been messed with. In the behavioral analysis, we found out it's sending text messages. And also that it's doing something with the web that might not need to do that, and with text messaging. And in the network analysis, of course, we found really clearly that it's connecting with Azerbaijan, and also that it's connecting to this website, which has red.php, which is a remote access tool. So we can find out in URL analysis also that it's malicious, but even if we use the previous tabs with the virus score, then we would know that this application is malicious. So you can do this kind of analysis with any application you have on your phone or your tablet. Or you can download those applications from stores. So for example, WhatsApp, you can go over WhatsApp APK and find it. For example, WhatsApp APK. You can download it and then go to the pithus.org website and upload it to analyze it. Now, obviously, if you use a third-party store, you can easily download your APKs. So if you find any APK on the internet, on a third-party marketplace, you can check them here and analyze if they are malicious. Now, if you want to change the apps on your actual device, you can use a tool called ADB, Android Debugger, which is a tool that programmers often use. Then run the command ADB pull with a link to your APK. So that will download the APK from your actual device, so from either your Android phone or your Android tablet. And obviously you need to be installed. So for that you would need to install ADB. And also you would need to allow USB debugging by going to settings, the application phone button, go to build number, 7 times tab, and enable USB debugging. And download the ADB tools, so either for Windows, for macOS, or for Linux. So I'll attach this URL that you can work with ADB if you want to download your actual APKs from your device and analyze those. If you use third-party marketplaces, you can also check APKs there. Or if someone sends you an APK by text messages, you can check out what is that actually doing. You can analyze it now using that tool.